Hi, I'm Ann Bryant, and it is my pleasure to introduce Felicia and Julie to the Dream It, Be It class, so make sure you're in the right place. Felicia Quinlan is the past SNR Dream It, Be It coordinator, SNR roster coordinator. Felicia's superstar quality is that she functions well in chaos. This has come in handy as she navigates her career, family life, serving the community, and her Soroptimist journey. Julie Kay, her superstar quality is event planning. And in Soroptimist, that certainly does make her a superstar. So please welcome our presenters this morning.
I'm gonna see if I can get all the way to, can you hear me okay?
Yeah, well, you need the mic for the.
You have to use the mic. It is on.
It is on?
Yes, it is.
Can you hear me better
Just
like this?
reposition it
Reposition it?
if it's not comfortable for you.
Like this? Is that
Yeah.
better?
Yeah.
I'm usually very loud, so
Well,
you usually
kiss
don't
it,
it.
almost. I'm serious.
Okay, so as Ann said, you can hear?
If we can't hear you, it won't end up on there.
Okay, can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
I can just get louder.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So we're here for Dream It, Be It. As you know, it's one of SIA's signature programs. So I'm happy to see you here, and I'm happy to have this discussion with you guys. I wanted to share with you, this is the most recent stats that we have, 23-24, throughout our global impact. And as you can see, it's over 23,000 young girls that we have impacted thus far, which is great. It's a big number, but let's try to make that bigger, right? So it's global. So let's try to make that, so that's why we're here today, to try to make more of an impact and a collective impact for all of us. So I just wanted to go over some objectives from Dream It, Be It, like why are we doing this? What is the purpose? What are we trying to get out of it, right? We want to leave a mark on young girls. We want them to feel like, and you can read it there, the objectives. I'm not going to read them word for word for you. But essentially, it is so that you can take young girls who may or may not have had access to resources to help them feel empowered to live their dreams, right? To dream something and then make it a reality. And that's kind of what our program does, is it shows them how to take what's in their head, what they're dreaming about, what they may want to do, and make an action plan for it. So that kind of mentorship and that programming is not always available for everyone. So we want the last one, the professional role models, that's us. So that also can be other people, but I like to emphasize that we as Soroptimists have a unique opportunity to really make a mark with Dream It, Be It. So why do one? Obviously our big goal of reaching out and impacting lives, it supports that. It's a signature program, so hopefully you and your club feel like this should be a mandatory program to support SIA's mission and vision. So otherwise, it's a great opportunity for you as a Soroptimist. We all joined Soroptimists so that we could make an impact and serve our communities and give back. And this is a hands-on way to do that. You actually get in there and you can see your impact on faces. And you can hear it when they give you feedback. So this is a great opportunity for you to say, why did I join Soroptimist? I joined to make an impact, and this is a great chance to do that. Okay. What kind of girls do you want to reach? So SIA has given us some guidelines on what to look for, and what type of girls we're looking for. At-risk youth. We're looking for girls 14 to 18. So you want to reach high school girls, maybe find the high school in your area that is not in the greatest shape so that you can make the greatest impact. That's not to say that any girls, it has to be, the only requirement really is 14 to 18, because that is the age range that SIA identified as being the most impacted by our program. So when they did all their research in coming up with Dream It Be It, they found that this age level of girls would have the most, because they're old enough to start actualizing dreams and making plans, but they're not too old to where, you know, you can't reach them in the dreaming period. So, and it's a great way for you to make connections with young ladies. So, my little clicker didn't click anymore. Okay, so here's some considerations when you are putting together your Dream It Be It program. There's obviously, if you work with smaller groups, multiple meetings, there's some benefits from working for small groups. You get more one-on-one, you get to talk a little bit more, you get to have a bit of more discussion back and forth. You could reach more girls. On the contrary, if you had shortened the program, it is fully adaptable. So you just want to take in consideration some of these things. I also like to point out, as Julie mentioned right before we started, this is for girls, and SIA only counts girls. But that doesn't mean it's to the exclusion of any males. So if you have an impactful male speaker, or if your school is insisting that boys come along, there is no rule against that, right? We can reach out as much as possible. It's just only the young ladies will be counted for the goal. Hello, we just started. Please sign in and join us. And like I said, you can customize the program. It is fully adaptable. It is going through a rework right now, so the curriculum is not available on the website. You have to email SIA to get the curriculum, to get access to it. But you only have to do one module to be considered a Dream It Be It program. So you can, if you have programs that reach out to young ladies, you can add this in and have it counted as a Dream It Be It program. Yes, question in the back.
Do you know when it's going to be available?
So you can email now.
Right, but I meant like
When they're reworking it,
Yeah.
they have it, it's available, it's just not posted on the website.
Okay.
So you could email right now from your phone and ask SIHQ for it, or the programs. And I have that email at the end of my slides.
Okay.
So yes, you could ask right away for it. And then they just haven't posted it all up on their websites yet. This is something also to customize the program. Some of us in Soroptimist have different backgrounds, varied experiences. Don't forget the goal that you have in your club. And you can allow facilitators to share personal experiences to help provide mentorship and guidance. You can add extra presentations. One of the most popular one is a financial literacy one. We've added that to our programs in Dream It Be It, just because SIA has no intention of adding a financial piece to it, but that can be very important, as we all know, for young people to get financially, at least some financial experience, education during these years, these 14 to 18 years. Clubs do scholarship opportunities. If your club is blessed enough to have that money available, you could do scholarships. And then think about non-traditional. So I've said the word school a few times, but think about non-traditional options. Think about having a recruiter possibly come in for the service. You could think of we've brought a plumber in, we've brought electricians in. Everyone knows that STEM is a great opportunity for women, but just think about non-traditional. Maybe they're not all college bound. Cosmetology is a good idea. Just keep your mind open to possibilities, and that's a way to customize the program. So I do have, so that's the foundation of kind of what we're looking at. I do have Julie here to explain a sample program that was very popular and very impactful. So I'll let her come up and explain to you their sample program.
Okay. So I'm gonna ask first, have any of you seen me present at region, at national? Okay, not everybody. I thought for sure this is redundant. You're not gonna see the photos because we're not gonna do them. But what I've done is I took Dream It Be It, and we worked with always have worked with a school, which as Felicia pointed out, is you're not a traditional school. You would have used to call them continuation schools, but that's not the case. This is actually more of a career high school, but all the girls we've dealt with have emotional issues, unstable, I guess, for the most part, family lives. So they don't fit in a traditional school. This doesn't require any attendance, like you know. It's small, it's all in a building, and they teach animal husbandry and all that stuff. So we have a great support from the principal of the school. There's only like 400 students. We do only work with the girls in there, but we do have a Dream It Be It element that we do. By the way, I've changed clubs, so I'm speaking from Soroptimist Metro, but I have joined Davis. I've been in Metro for 34 years, and I shifted over to Davis because they're more aligned with what we're doing for Soroptimist these days. So, but in any event, at Soroptimist International Metro SAC, we did a career event every month in a school, taking all the 5th graders, and there's hundreds, and presented a fireman, firewoman, whatever. We did all careers because we had boys and girls. So that is, as Felicia pointed out, a component you can also do. So I'm gonna just tell you that because she brought it up in my mind. Basically what I did is, we had a small group. We maybe had 8 girls. This is 2020, it started in maybe 21 or 20, that we tried to do this, and then you know the rest of that story. So I went out, I am active with the murals in Sacramento, we have thousands, and I have run the mural festival just as a volunteer for a number of years. So I got this idea, because I know so many artists, that we should do something after. We always offered incentives. So if you would stay in the program, and we did a 2-day, it had a weekend component, that was a no-go. So we went to a Thursday, Friday instead of a Friday, Saturday. The principal, these gals don't have to show up at any class, so it's easy there. They get credits for being there. And the principal stands right outside the door, so we don't get fingerprinted because she stands right there the whole time. But in any event, so we decided, I decided that as an incentive, we should allow these young ladies to paint a mural, which was 75 feet wide, 12 feet high, with an artist that happens to come out of LA, and he happened, but I'm open to talking to people if you're interested in a mural, because a lot of little towns do it. You have a lot of artists. You do not, I raised $22,000. You do not have to do that. But we gave them a week in school, basically. They brought them over in a van, and they sat down, and they learned, before they ever got to go out and paint anything, but every day they did paint. They learned marketing, and this is for an artist, by an artist out of Los Angeles who has a program, it's a nonprofit called Hope Through Art. So he also gave us a nonprofit to take the money that we didn't take, could go directly to him too, although we collected most of the money. But he had the curriculum, which, you know, I'm happy to share. I've taken AI and whittled it down to nothing, and I'm happy to share that. It doesn't infringe on his program. But whatever, so we did this 5-day thing where they learned marketing through the artists, marketing, finances, design concepts, publicity, how you get where you're gonna go, which is applicable to any career, especially when you're starting out. So that's how we started that. And every day they'd go out and paint. I had pictures painted, printed, but they're on my dining room table, right where I left them. So you can, I'm gonna give you a link, I got a scan code that you can come and scan, and I'm happy to take the list if your emails are on and get you the info, or you can just tell me. We also paid a videographer to do this mural and do a video that's about 5 minutes. It's online at SacMetroSoroptimist.org under Dream It Be It Mural Education Project. But I also, like I said, I have a scan code here, or I can give it to you another way. I encourage you, if you have it, it'll show you the mural. It'll, more important than showing you the mural, because the mural, when you see the faces, he has done most of that work, although we brought in an assistant artist who has been in Dream It Be It. She's in art school now, in the San Francisco School of Art. It's the big California Arts College. But anyway, so she's moved on, but she came back from school to be an art assistant. So she did the first makeup of one of the faces, and then he came in and finished it. And you'll understand why, because he did the first one. And the second one, although it's very good, and actually one of my nieces, who we paid also, was helping her because she's an artist, a full-time artist. So we had her being mentored by another artist, but it didn't quite meet the finished product. So anyway, this is just one thing that we did. So we offer incentives. I saw them getting out of hand last year, and I'll tell you why, because we got a very big club. They brought in a couple other schools that are also charter. These are charter schools. And so we realized we have to back down on incentives. The mural isn't gonna happen again. But the incentives that we do give are usually $50 Target cards and stuff. But sometimes you'll start seeing they're only there for those cards. Now we make them stay the whole time, but I saw it a little disruptive this time. So I think they're a great idea. I think it needs to be a more physical thing, like we've done hanging on ropes, through one of the organizations in town, lets them hang on ropes and fly in the air kind of thing. We've taken them to theater, we take them, give them a couple tickets, we don't drive them, but. So anyway, that's what this is. And if you go and look at the video, and those who've seen it will know, the testament of these young girls, who are mostly, they fell in and out the whole time, I'm telling you. They were on the ground, laying here, doing that, whatever, because they have a really hard time hanging in there, but they did, and of course it was very impactful to them. And I'm happy to talk to people about murals. I've just been recruited to go down to Ontario to start up a big mural festival. I'm gonna manage all the volunteers through someone who's doing it. And so it's not that hard. They are paying, but you don't even have to pay artists. There are plenty of artists who are really good who will do a mural in your community for free to get that mural up there that they want them, get them paid the next time. So I'm telling you, they're really good. It's something that's important today because young people like it. They see them, the communities like them. So anyway, that's all I have to offer on that, but mostly, I wanted to ask something, because this is something I think about when I do attend and help with but I've never organized, frankly, Dream It Be It, but I go to all of them. How many of you ended up in a career that you actually thought you were headed into when you were 13 to 18? How many of you are in the position that you headed off to be in that when you ended up? Did you end up in the same position you were like? Yeah. So not most people didn't raise their hand. I certainly did. I started out as executive secretary, but my skills are bossing people around. So that's what I do. That's what I'll be doing in Ontario. But so anyway, that's what I'm trying to, and I think that's what's important. I think a lot of them enter thinking they need to have something in their head, but I don't think most people end up where they think they were going. I have a physician that lives directly across the street from me. She didn't like being a physician. She lasted about a year. So that's somebody who spent a lot of money with a dream that didn't work out. And then she's in medical, she is not a physician. So those things are important for people to know. Most of us didn't start out probably where we thought we were gonna end. I didn't, certainly. Anyway, so thank you. Do you have a question?
I do have a question. We were talking about working with high school girls, but my my understanding of the program was that it was most effective in the junior high, because by the time you get to them in high school, let's say they say, I wanna be a physician, they've already not taken the right classes.
Well, this
They're
is
already-
14 to 18, so it's high school.
I'm just asking
Oh,
you whether you feel
No,
that the career plan is
they,
more or less effective.
I think most of the young women, girls that you're gonna see in any school haven't thought that far in advance. I think you have a vision a lot of times from your parents. 3 out of the 4 siblings in my family are business owners because my dad was a business owner. Not a big business owner, but a business owner. So 3 of us owned, I was always self-employed. So I think they don't see any of that.
Okay.
And that's why you're opening their eyes. No one in their house may even work, right? And you see a lot of that. They have minimal jobs that they know they don't wanna do that, but they don't have any sense of anything bigger. So I'd say, no, it's probably high school, I don't think. kids-
So to speak to that,
Yeah,
so
where you
we
go.
did, because I've done a couple of different types of dream
Okay,
Indians,
thank you.
and we did go, so it's 14 to 18. So if you turn 18 in your senior year, 17, 16, 15 years freshman year,
Yeah.
you turned 14 in your 8th grade year, right?
Right.
So if you go in the spring of an 8th grade year, which is what we did to capture 14-year-olds, right? Because it's 14 to 18.
Right.
And we actually did that. So in Las Vegas, and all I did was I did some research and looked at options for high school in Las Vegas. And after I did my research, I took a little bit, we tweaked combined a couple of modules and did a little thing and made myself a little 20-minute time period where I did a full presentation on what options there were for high schools in our area and what you could do if you were dreaming about being a doctor. We have a medical magnet program in Las Vegas. If you wanted to be a cosmetologist, we have multiple schools that train you so you could leave high school and get your license and start working, right? So you can, but you have to do it in the spring of the 8th grade year because that's when you're gonna capture the 14 in order to make the 14 to 18. Yes,
So the 14, you can't go any younger than 14?
SIA won't count it.
Okay.
It has to be 14 to 18.
Well, no, I was gonna say, on her comment, so colleges start the idea, because they don't think about it, in middle school. They start at 6th and 7th grade, they have the schools going through the tours to see the campus, so they get their dream of like, well, how do I do it? How do I get there? So then when they're in high school, I'm in Vegas, I'll talk to you about Las Vegas Heels. But yeah, so starting in the spring of 8th grade is kind of when you go, but colleges are recruiting in middle school. They start, as soon as they take that PSAT, they're in it, they do it.
Kids are taking PSATs
In
in
8th grade.
6th grade?
8th grade, and so they get them thinking about,
Wow.
colleges are recruiting and having middle schools go and see the campuses in middle schools.
That's crazy.
So yeah, that is how you capture it. So you thought it would sort of still count, right?
At least in Nevada, they take a day to do PSAT.
Kids from those, households that we're talking about, I would imagine they wouldn't
I agree.
But it's, the school,
makes them right.
yes,
Right.
it's a full day.
Interesting, it would be interesting to see how that looks for like the group of girls that we're talking about.
And to your point, the very first one that I did was at a high school in not the greatest section, and those girls had no plans, and we started from scratch, and we were in high school. We pulled from a PE class, so they all got out of PE, which,
Hey,
to your point about incentives, may or may not have been the reason they were so eager to show up, but they absorbed the programming and thought, oh, I've never thought about that, because so we'll go through the modules, but the most impactful for young ladies that don't have resources or the forward thinking available to them to even have that enter their mind were the ones where we did the dream boards, right? Those are so popular. And I'll tell you what, as a club, you had, so when we presented the dream boards, we had to have samples. And that was a really fun activity we did in our club. With our members, we made our own little dream boards so that we could show, when we did Dream It Be It, some samples, and it was actually really fun to let you learn a little bit about, oh, I didn't know she wanted to be a writer, and that's like a secret dream of hers, or I didn't know that, this is the travel that she wanted to do. And so it was fun, a fun kind of extra activity that you can do in your club to get ready for Dream It Be It, is to do that dream board project together in like a program meeting or something, is what we got together in a meeting at someone's house and spread all out and did boards. So that was a younger member that we had that encouraged us to do it, to say, hey, let's do this together and learn a little bit about each other and then have samples. So that was something to think about too. But that, to your point, not everybody has that forward thinking. And it's not that they're not capable of it, it's just nobody ever told them.
They
hey,
don't see it in their
Right.
life. They see a lot of times nobody works.
Right.
That's what
That's
they.
part of your brain that's typically underdeveloped, especially if you've dealt with a lot of trauma and things.
Yeah, exactly,
So-
exactly.
So these are the modules, this is the 7 modules that SIA put out for the programming. Discovering your dreams, the highlight of that one is those dream boards. So if your club is struggling in any way to get a Dream It Be It together, focus on the dream boards, because that is, it's right in the beginning of the modules, and it's honestly, it's super fun. It's super fun to have them talk to you. And to speak to like interest levels, we've had the dream board exercise, and we had a young lady who, shall I say, wasn't as interested in doing it. So she said, well, I had a dream of being a cat lady, and that's all I'm gonna do. I'm gonna be a cat lady. So do you have any cats? Do you have pictures of cats? And so one of our members, who's just as quick, thought, okay, you wanna be a cat lady, what do you need to be a cat lady? So you're gonna need some litter boxes, you're gonna need some connections to where to find the cats, you're gonna need some space, you probably need some scratching posts, and they sat there and drew out a whole dream board on being a cat lady. So, I mean, you could take something, they think they're being funny, and go, wait, no, this is an opportunity for you to think something through and think about what kind of things that are needed for that. So that's my favorite dream board story, it was the cat lady.
I love it.
Because she went home with a cat lady dream board. Exploring careers is a really fun opportunity for members of your club. You can bring outside people in to talk, like I talked about, like having the plumbers or the estheticians or the electricians or anyone come in and talk about careers. But it's also a good time to share what we do, just like Julie was saying. Well, what I wanted to do, I wanted to be a lawyer when I was a kid, and took a different path to get there, as my mother-in-law used to tell me, but that's where I am today, right? So it still happens. You can think about things, it's just what path you go to get there, and sharing that with young people, saying, just because you have a child doesn't mean you can't go to law school, right? So it gives them an idea of like things are possible. So that exploring careers is a great opportunity to tap into your Soroptimist goal that you have in your club. Creating achievable goals is the SMART goals. You walk through having a goal and then what action steps you need, and you come out with a little ending thing on how to get your goals done. Our cat lady friend did a goal on being her cat lady, so that was fun. Rising Above Obstacles they have, I think it's 4 or 5 set preset obstacles that women face in school and in career. And then they give suggestions and you can do skits. Turning failure to success. So when we combine them, we combined 4 and 5 into one module to give us a little time to do some customization. Balancing your stress, was really fun. I'm gonna be honest, that they have a game in there, they have a couple of games in there that you can do, and it kind of recharges everyone and makes it more fun. So whether you're doing more of the Zen, breathing, chair yoga with the girls, or if you're doing the toss the ball in the air and jump and hold on one foot and pass it to each other and remember everyone's name, that's a game they have in there. So that's really fun. So it's a chance to have fun. And then putting dreams into action is kind of your wrap up. So those are the modules. That's kind of what the programming is. But like I said, you don't need all of them to do a Dream It Be It program. You can customize. So what Julie and I wanted to do with you guys today is focus on rising above obstacles. So we want to kind of go through with you about what are some barriers to putting on a Dream It Be It program, so that we can talk through how to overcome some of those barriers.
Can I
that's-
interject for a second?
Yes.
How many are doing Dream It Be It as clubs?
Trying to.
And the others have not done it at all, or
I'm
just?
just kind of new to the club.
Okay, cool. Well, some
Now
clubs
we
pick
are
it up
doing
and drop it.
But we wanted to.
Okay, well, that's good.
We
We want you to.
That's why we're here, we're to do it.
to do it.
Very good.
We will do it, we will do it, yes.
See, there you go.
So that actually, you guys must be psychic, because that's the first obstacle that we came up with, was interest in the program, right? If your club's doesn't have buy-in, how do you get buy-in? How do you want, and I'm happy to hear you want to do it, because that's most of the problem, right? Is you are all volunteer organization to want to put that extra time in to develop the program. While this program has been developed mostly for you, you still need to put it on, right? So you want to make sure you have interest. You can increase, one of the suggestions I have about increasing interest in your club is to put on a Dream It Be It presentation. Grab a program meeting from your VP and say, hey, let me present what Dream It Be It is and what it can do. And then that way you can get your club to get excited about putting on this program. Does anyone else have any other ideas on how to increase interest at the club level? No? Okay, well then, my suggestion will work. But yeah, that's the first step, right? Is making sure there's interest involved in doing this. Another big barrier that we get to is actually making that connection to a group of girls to give this wonderful presentation to, right? You can connect with girls and find audiences. I mentioned the biggest one is schools, right? Go to a high school, go to that spring semester of 8th grade, a school. Can anyone else think of another place to find girls?
Boys and Girls Club?
Yes. Girl Scouts, that's another big one. Some Girl Scouts, I know they do in Las Vegas, but some Girl Scouts, if you go to their headquarters or their council,
Yeah.
they can identify for you troops that would benefit from your programming.
So our club just made a connection with CASA, and they are involved with foster youth. And we've met with them, and they want to do a one-day program and promote it and arrange the transportation, and so it's in the works. But anyway, so
That's a great idea,
foster
CASA,
youth.
yeah.
CASA is our recent connection, and we're hoping that works out.
That's great.
Yes.
I know you mentioned schools, but we connected with the schools in our area, and the girls that were in detention for what they call study hall, because they were the at-risk kids.
Right,
So
right.
they focused on them, and we did have to approach the school, and we were lucky enough that we had a member of the club, not my club, sorry.
It's
but
okay.
in the community where I live, they have a member that works
That's a good one, yeah.
They have, yeah, if they would do it once a week, they got the advisor that was over detention was a teacher that said, oh, this is a great program, this will help them. And so one day a week, they got to do Dream It, Be It module during detention.
So, speaking to that idea, just so you know, because I was a Dream and Be It coordinator, if you do at least one module, that's considered a program. If you reach different girls, so there's different girls in detention, those are additional girls. So when you report your project, that's even though you may have given the same or different modules for each presentation, if you have different girls in there, keep track of that because that's additional for your numbers when you report. So that's more young ladies reached, right?
Unique individuals, basically.
Yep, just like if you repeat and come back if you do one in the fall and then repeat and add additional programming to the same girls, that doesn't count. It has to be different girls each time. Yes?
So, this is a unique, specific to one situation question, so I don't know if it's okay to ask it here or if you want
No,
to.
that's fine.
Okay, we have a connection now with Academy Stay, which is a home for foster youth who are, it's a whole complex where they live, and it pays for their living so that they can pursue post-secondary education. And so they're in school or in trade schools or in colleges. And these girls still need this program, but they're not in the 14 to 18 stage. So can we do that as an accelerator project? Can we?
It looks like our governor has the answer. She's nodding emphatically, yes.
Yeah,
Yes,
it's a big old
okay.
accelerators. It has an
Okay.
education component.
Yes, okay, yeah, so okay, I just wanted to make sure that, I mean, we're doing it anyway, but I would like it to be
Amazing
an
that you're doing
accelerator project.
Yes, so
Where
that,
is this school, this?
It's in, we just toured it, in North
Highlands?
yeah.
Alberta?
No, it's off of 80, I'll get you, I have it.
What's the name of the place?
Academy Stay.
so,
And,
Oh, go ahead.
yeah, it's new and it's amazing, and I can give you more information about it, but we've now connected with them and are scheduled to do both our Money Matters and Dream It, Be It.
Yeah, cool.
so we're here about Dream and Be It, so obviously that's what I want you to do, but it is kind of like, if you're going for middle school and you hit some 13-year-olds that don't count, that still can go to your big goal accelerator. So it goes to both ends, right?
Thanks.
Another way to connect with girls is sports teams. I've heard some people, and I picked this idea up, lovingly lifted it at my last session that I did. If your Soroptimist Club for marketing sponsors or gives a donation to a local sports team, like a girls softball team, you can get brand recognition, but you also can get access to Dream It, Be It, young ladies. So you can use it for both things. So that's an idea, sports teams. I've heard some clubs reached out to local churches for their girls study program, if they have one, or even just their youth program. So there's different places in the community. Can anyone think of anywhere else?
Girls on the Run is a national group which has got phenomenal opportunity for Soroptimist.
What we tried to do, and I don't know in your local area how this is set up, but another place that we in Las Vegas are trying to make the contact with is not when Stacy had me remember it when she said detention. So when the girls are in juvenile justice, when they've been, I think the word is committed, because it's not incarceration, right? Because they're kids. So if you have a facility that houses people, young ladies, and there'll be men, but you reach out obviously for the girls. You could do a presentation, and that's definitely within our risk group, right? Is someone who's already had some negative interactions with authority. So that's an option as well. So there's a lot of different kind of ways to find them. It's just making that connection. And that here is where I want to point out so I do the roster, and I happen to know that not every club has a Dream of Be It chair, which I found discouraging. So I feel like if you had a person that was kind of identified to be your Dream of Be It champion, then you could have that person be leading the charge in making these connections and organizing the connections. So think of that, let's start there, is make sure that your club identifies a Dream of Be It chair or coordinator, or however you title that for yourselves.
I think it's still Paso Heights, that's where it is.
So.
Okay, so yes.
I know that the criteria, or the modules are the ones you listed there, but I really like the idea of the financial module.
Yes.
Because we're trying to get this going in Truckee, and we can't get the girls. That's the
Right.
problem, they're not showing up. Part of it is because they get all this stuff already, a lot of it in the high school, especially the kids that really need it have resource room, and this is the stuff that they're taught all the time. The other reason is that they can't take time away from classes because they're missing things and they don't wanna show up on weekends. So trying to find something that, would attract them, I think would be
Money.
good.
That's the incentive issue, and it's weird, but it does fill the room. And you just
Money,
have
did you say?
An incentive.
Incentive.
We never tell them what it is, but we've been giving them these $50 gift cards.
Yeah, so if they show up to the end, they get $50 or something.
And it's it sounds a little like bribery, they don't know what they're getting.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, so we can think about that. I was thinking, I don't know, it seems like the financial module might be something they're not getting in high school. But is that material available anywhere? I mean, you said that you have Money Matters.
Our club developed a program, I'm
developed
sure
it?
they'd be happy to share it, but
And what's
So,
it's called Sacramento, it's called Money Matters.
We have a member of our club that works at a bank.
Yeah, I was like,
So most banks have an programming already put together for financial literacy.
Okay.
Is that what you were gonna say?
yeah, almost all banks have a community outreach and business development, and they go out and do that,
And there's your speaker.
especially for credit unions and things, but banks have a financial literacy program.
So yeah, if you reach out to, because so having a child that, one of my children went to a magnet program, so they had different programming, but one of my other child went to a regular high school, and they did have like in 9th grade, some schools do have like a half a year class, and it covers like maybe 2 or 3 of those sessions covers financial stuff. So they might have a touch of it, but if you can make the argument that you're bringing in a more comprehensive program that would synthesize the information better for them, or maybe build off of something that they already have, because that was a issue that we have in our planning year. We were reaching out to a school that had at-risk youth, but they had a program to uplift them.
Yeah.
So we were trying to explain how our program is a little bit different, and it's emphasizing on making dreams come true is the way I phrased it, because that's kind of how the modules play out. So it's just about talking up how it might be different. So it had that couple of meetings, and that's what we did, was we sat and talked, they told us about what they had, we told them about how it's different, and then just focusing on those differences when you do the Dream of Be It, so that you can get back in. Does that make sense? Another obstacle that we face all the time for everything is time, right? One of the biggest ways to counteract the obstacle of time is to partner with another club, right? Double your resources for time and then it helps. I love the fact that Dream It Be It allows you to partner with other clubs, because that is an opportunity. I feel like Dream It Be It has a lot of benefits for young women, but I think it benefits us as Soroptimists as well. So I got to meet and work with and build friendships with women from other clubs that I may not have had that interaction, but for we did this Dream It Be It project together. So that's an option to kind of spread your network within Soroptimist. Yes, you had a
Now,
question.
when you say time, are you talking about because you work in schools and schools are during the day and people have to work time? And so you're partnering with clubs who have members who have the availability during the day? Or are you talking time as our schedules are too full after work or weekends are, you know what I mean? So what do you mean by?
So both, and I'll tell you how we overcame both of them. So the first part, so I work full time. I'm still in the race. So what I did is I ended up taking a vacation day. The first couple of times we did Dream It Be It as a conference, and then I went to my boss and said, I'm doing this community service. I work for the government, so maybe you want to be out there on your social media talking about what your employees are doing for the community. And then they started giving me an admin day. So that's how I worked with it in terms of having that time off. I just took it as personal time in the beginning. So that's option one. But I did have that issue with members of my club who wanted to do the Dream It Be It program, but just couldn't get the day off. And the best way to get into the school was to go during a school day. So the only answer I have for that one is to just take a vacation day. And if you don't have a vacation day, ask if you can make it an admin day, and just say, hey, can I, that way I can build your brand by showing what I do for the community. The other part of it, yes, having 3 clubs come together meant that we had more people able to do the planning tasks, able to, we adapted the curriculum, so that's what I was in charge of. Had someone else manage, because we had a full day conference, we brought in food, someone else managed that. So yes, to both of those things, working with a additional club helped solve both of those problems. So the other thing, this is the other opportunity to build up Soroptimists, is to bring up other volunteers. An obvious way is a speaker at your lunch break as they're eating their pizza or sandwiches or whatever you have. You have someone come in and talk about what it's like to be a female plumber, or what it's like to be a female probation officer, or what it's like to be on and on and on, right? So you have that opportunity that you don't even have to amend the modules to get in, but you can also bring in, and we've done this, facilitators. So when you have a bigger group, it's nice to have a person at each table working with the girls, and that's an opportunity to bring in other volunteers, and hopefully they'll join Soroptimists, because they see what kind of work service you do, right? So for time, those are my suggestions. Does anyone else have any suggestions on how to overcome not having time?
We would limit, you could come in for just 2 hours, or you could come in over the lunch hour, or you didn't have to work the whole day. If you could just take a couple hours off work, then you could come and do that component.
Oh, you're right. I'm sorry, we did that too.
Yeah.
That's a good
so
one
they
too.
come and go.
Right. And we did that. We broke it up for before lunch and after lunch.
Yeah.
So we had someone take a half day
Yeah.
and then come in the afternoon, and then someone just came in the morning for a couple hours. So yes, that's breaking it up is also another one.
What about using S clubs?
So I don't have an S club in Las Vegas. So, but yes, you could absolutely tap into that. That's another good idea. So cost, right? I mentioned bringing in food. I mentioned how awesome the dream boards are. That costs money for supplies, right? For the actual food, for the markers, and the glue and all of that. So my suggestion for how to overcome cost, and this was successfully done by one of our clubs, was to apply to the region or the federation for a grant. They have funding available to help you get their programs done, and reach out and do that. So any of your fundraising can go to Dream It Be It. If you don't like grant running, or you didn't get it done in time, or the timing is off, you could do that. You could do sponsorships and things like that. We kept costs down again by partnering with other clubs, and maybe my budget is little and their budget is little, but together we were able to come up with enough to get it done. Yes.
How much do these things cost?
So that is entirely dependent on how much you do, right? So the first year we combined it, we had, I think it was 35 or 40 girls in the library, and we had a member who sells cosmetic products, so she donated our little goodie bags, so that was no cost. But if you do incentives, that's gonna be the cost, right? If you don't do any incentives like we did one year, then there's no cost to that. So sometimes it's printing of the handouts, it's dream board supplies, cause you need the actual boards. We used to use poster board, and then one of our members found at Michael's these large, I guess they're sketchbooks, but they were thick and heavy, so we used those as the dream boards. So, and then we were able to get a ton of them for better pricing than poster boards. So you had to. So it really just depends on how much you do. If you don't do a conference and you do like 3 to 6 modules, you maybe don't need to feed them. Maybe you just need snacks, or maybe you just need. So it really goes on what you want to do. So it's
not a terribly expensive thing.
No.
And
No.
you can get the food a lot of times donated. Go to the sandwich shop. Pizza parlors will do that. They might want to come in early because of their workload, and so you can do that easily, pretty easily.
Yeah. So it's some creative thinking, right?
We use the school for printing. The schools have 4-color copiers. They'll print it, get it to them.
Right. So some schools have it, and so the charter schools that we went to used to print our handouts for us.
Yeah.
Another obstacle that I get asked a lot is this background check, right? And the fingerprinting requirement and what's going on. So I'll let you know, you just need to check your local requirements. So if you go into the school, for us it's Clark County School District, look at what their requirements are. That's what SIA says, you have to meet the local requirements, right? And make sure that you're meeting those minimal requirements. You can get a background check for $10 per person at Higher Image. They have a contract with SIA. It's on the SIA website. The link is right there. For $10 a person. We put that as a line item in our budget. $10 background check, because we do another program with you.
Again?
Higher Image. HIRE Image. Yes.
So then you just
So-
fingerprint.
If this is a big initiative with SIA, how come SIA doesn't partner with someone to do background checks? So for like Junior League, HLI has somebody that would do, and part of our member fees go towards background checks for all of our members.
So my guess is that we're too big for them to do that kind of contract.
School
If you think
districts,
about every member,
school districts will do it for free.
Depends on your school district.
that's true.
That's true too, but typically they do.
I just
But
didn't
it's
know
my
because
understanding-
SIA,
Right.
this is the, even be it is
Mhm.
a huge initiative. Why not utilize the leverage of membership to partner with a background check company?
It's a good question to ask SIA,
Yeah,
probably.
yeah, because it's my understanding that they did the contract for the $10 background check to make it only $10. So I'm not sure if there's a reason that they didn't do it all the way. But
It's- It's
that
not
was a
always
partnership.
required if you have an educator in the room.
That's what I'm saying, check your school district
The
policy.
principal stands outside. She has a stand-up computer, she stands there.
I just,
Yeah, there, you can get by without it if you're in the right place.
I will let you know that when you get your background check, they are only good according to SIA for 10 years. So after 10 years, yeah, you need a new one. So sometimes like for mine, my employment, when we first started it, my employment background check was sufficient because it was way more intensive than the SIA requires. But just to keep that in mind, it's 10 years, which is sounds like a long time. It's a lot of years to go.
Does everyone who's participating with the Dream It Be It program have to have the background check at each person?
No.
Each Soroptimist?
Each Soroptimist, so that's where you wanna check what your local standards
Okay.
are. Because as Julie's saying, if you are never unsupervised with a child,
Okay.
some school districts don't require it. If you don't spend a long time with a child, right? So Clark County has both a supervision clause and a timing clause. It's anyone who spends more than a certain amount of time per month. And if you're only doing one presentation, you wouldn't need that, right? A higher requirement.
Okay.
So yeah, just check your local requirements. And it's good if your club, while they're doing everything that you're doing, if you make a policy on what you're gonna require your club members to do, and then the treasurer holds the results of those. So those are all the obstacles I thought of for barriers to a Dream of You. Does anyone else have any other obstacles? We have just a few minutes left. Yes.
Question, so one of the things, it lists here in terms of general rules for interaction is that you have parental permission?
Yes.
How about if it's just part of the classroom work, or there's, someone bringing it to the school, you still
So
have to-
that's, the handouts that I gave you are the guidelines for working with youth from SIA. So these are what their suggestions to you are. What we did was, we knew the day that we were going into the school, SIA has parental permissions forms that you can just print, fill out your club name, and then you give them to the teacher ahead of time. She sends them home, you get them back. It's that simple. So that you just use the SIA resources that are on the
If
website.
you don't do that, is that like an SIA issue?
Yes.
It's an issue for almost any time you have leave.
Even if you're under the
Photography.
supervision of the school and a program?
The school knows what they'll go, they may all already have permission for all of them. And they already have
Yes.
it. For anything, time they bring in someone from the outside. So.
Yeah, it is something to check with the teacher, because she's right, some do blanket permission forms, and that may be sufficient. We just did them, use the form SIA gave us. So, any more resources or questions? I told you I had the, email. So Karen Hawley is your Region Dream It Be It coordinator. She couldn't be here today, so we're doing this on her behalf. Her email for questions is dreamitbeit@soroptimistsnr.org. All of our people are soroptimistsnr.org when you're looking at the region level. If you're looking at the SIA programming team, they want you to reach out to them. That's how you'll get the access to the curriculum. It's program@soroptimist.org. So those are the two emails for questions that you want to remember. And I think that we're out of time. So thank you very much for attending, and all of your